Coming up, have places like Frost Science been calling your name? Good, we take you there. Find out how they've been caring for the awe-inspiring Oculus and marine life since closing temporarily. On a reopening note, a public health official clues us in on what testing may look like in the future. Morgan keeps you warmed up for working out, ANIVA puts the pets in pet adoption, and what you need to know about masks and more today on SoFlo Health.
Yeah, this sure beats talking about the coronavirus, but don't worry, we still have all of the information that you need for COVID-19 today on SoFlo Health. Hi, I'm Hunter Franqui. Welcome to SoFlo Health and welcome to Frost Science Museum here in downtown Miami. This is the Oculus and it is quite the sight to see. We had been here before on a previous episode of SoFlo Health, but they will be reopening soon, so we want to be able to show you a glimpse of what it looks like here. We're getting a backstage tour. You might be thinking, Hunter, isn't that closed? Yes, it is, but they are doing Frost at Home by bringing live streams to you, and we have the opportunity, thanks to our friends here at Frost Science, to come in, give you a glimpse of what it's like when there's no one here and what they need to do to take care of all of the wildlife and creatures that they have here and how they're bringing them home to you. There's so much to talk about. I can't stand it, but I do want to look at more of this, so you watch this. Last week we talked about what it meant to be reopening here in South Florida and how it differs from the rest of Florida. Well, this week we want to talk about what that might look like specifically when it comes to work and to testing. So we're consulting professor and public health expert at FAU, Dr. Terry Adamum. Terry, thank you for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Hunter. It's a pleasure.
And when it comes to reopening or new norms that may begin. We hear about testing, we hear about treatments and vaccines. What should people know about testing and how should they expect to get back to work? Should they be ready to take a test? Should they be ready to quarantine themselves if they get sick? What do you think?
Yeah, all great questions. First, I'll address the testing issue.
Sure.
I think one thing that I think is very important for people to know is the difference between the different kinds of tests. So there's two main categories of testing. There's the PCR test where we stick the swab up your nose or get a sample in your mouth. That's for acute infection. That's for someone who is actively sick. You could test last week with that PCR test and it was negative, but today you could take that test again and be positive.
Right.
The other thing too that people should know about that test is you can be positive and not have been sick, because people can be either what's called asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic. So that's the scary part about this virus, is that people can have it and transmit it and you don't know because they're not sick. The second test that I think people are hearing a lot about is the antibody test. We call that a serology test. And what that tests for is whether or not your system, having been exposed to the virus, is mounting an immune response and makes antibodies that we assume are protective, but we don't know that for sure, meaning that somewhere down the line, if you were exposed to the virus again, your body would be able to fight it off. There's literally 1,000 clinical trials going on right now on all kinds of medications. So I'm hopeful that in the next weeks and months, we're going to come up with some more therapeutic medications. The vaccine, I know we're hearing about January and the winter, and gosh, I really hope that's true. But knowing how vaccines are made and how complicated vaccine development is, I think what Dr. Fauci said, 12 to 18 months is probably more realistic.
I think that, it's a good thing, as we said last week, to continue to wash your hands. Just do that forever.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, just wash your hands. Do that as long as you possibly can. And then, of course, wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, and continue to stay updated and informed so that we're prepared for whatever comes next. Terry, thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Hello? Oh, there you are. These are our good friends, the moon jellies, and you could actually run into these here in South Florida in the Atlantic. But don't worry, these silky feathery, angelic-looking tentacles won't do too much to us, fortunately, because they might look a little scary, but you should only be scared if you're plankton, and if you're watching this show, I hope you're not. Anyway, one of the things that's been keeping me good throughout quarantine is my pet Chihuahua baby, and it's always great to have man's best friend or woman's best friend around. So we went to the Humane Society to visit because they're still open and taking care of you and the animals there. So if you're looking for a new pet or you want to foster one, check this out.
In the current situation, we're hearing about shortages of toilet paper, cleaning supplies, food, you name it. And to add to the list, we've got pets. In the midst of a pandemic, a restless yet worried nation are turning to pets for comfort. Some realizing that a little bit of snuggle and slurp is all they need to get through tough times. Hi, I'm ANIVA ZAMAN for SoFlo Health, and I am here with CHERIE at the Humane Society of Broward County. CHERIE, I understand there's been a booming interest in pet adoption and even fostering pets during this time. What's the reason behind all this?
Well, you're absolutely right. There has been a huge increase in the number of people wanting to adopt as well as foster. And I think people are home. They're self-quarantining, they're looking for something to help them occupy their time. If you're thinking about getting a pet, it's the perfect time. It's a great time for the pet to be able to bond with you. If it's a dog that needs to be housebroken, you're now able to get it on a schedule, right, and train the dog as well.
Tell us how people and even pets can actually help each other out, you know, during a crisis or even on a normal day.
There has been research done that says when you have a pet, it can help lower your blood pressure, gives you a sense of responsibility and a sense of a reason to get up in the morning. Look, I'd like to sleep till 9, but my cats don't let me. 6 o'clock, right, they're staring at me on bed.
Look at that. You can't. I mean, how can you avoid this little?
I know, they're adorable, and you know, it really gives you a sense of, I think, completeness. It really, anybody who doesn't have a pet, they're missing out.
Pets can only help people mentally, but can it also help people physically?
Oh, I think so, absolutely. Especially, you know, with a dog. I mean, they're going to need regular exercise. They're going to have to go for walks. So it's really a great opportunity if you can't go to the gym, you know, exercise with your dog. And I'm sure you can do some yoga with your cats too.
Sure, why not, right? You have a mindful meditation with them, right?
There you go.
Finances, you know, people are going through hardships right now with, you know, either being furloughed or laid off or no jobs, out of business. Is the Humane Society doing anything to kind of ease that?
But if someone is in need of help, they can reach out to the Humane Society. You can go to our website, it's humanebroward.com, and there's a banner that says COVID-19, and you can read all about the different programs that we have going on. The way we're doing things here at the Humane Society right now is everything is by appointment only. So people have to go on our website. You can meet 2 pets, but no one is allowed to walk around to see the animals.
So you guys are maintaining the social distancing that are in place right now?
Absolutely. Having worked at the Humane Society for almost 25 years, I never in my wildest dreams thought that we would be experiencing something like this. And it's a big change for, obviously, people, it's a change for the animals, but it is very rewarding to see people come in and adopt these pets and give them the loving homes that they need.
I definitely now see why some say that adding a new addition to a household can definitely be beneficial to them. I mean, look at these adorable faces. One look at their face and all your worries are gone.
When SoFlo Health returns, more Frost Science scenery, Morgan shares a full-body warm-up, and we learn how to ditch diet culture.
Hey, whoa, stop. You're about to touch your face again. The average person touches their face 23 times per hour, and that's just too many times to be touching our face right now. If you must touch your face for some reason, please wash your hands for at least 20 seconds first to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Okay, that was just a SoFlo Health reminder. Now back to SoFlo Health. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Franqui on the roof of Frost Science in downtown Miami. And that right there is American Airlines Arena for as long as it is American Airlines Arena. But it is where the Heat play. And boy, do I miss basketball season and the rest of life before quarantine. But don't worry, a lot of people are starting to get back to more of a usual life. And hopefully we begin to open up soon. So Morgan has a warm up for when we open up. Welcome to my home. It's time to get a workout in, but before we work out, we have to warm up. Well, that's at least what Morgan Shapiro tells me, and she's with us via Zoom. My dog's with us via couch, but let's talk to Morgan about the fitness. What's up, Morgan?
Hey Hunter, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks so much for having me on. I know people have been cooped up inside. Everyone's really, really excited to get out there and work out outdoors. But I want everyone to be mindful to not just jump the gun and go straight to it. We want to make sure we are warming up and getting our body prepared. So at the same time though, you probably don't want to do a long warm up. You want to get to it quickly. So I'm going to give you a quick little dynamic warm up that we're going to do to get your body ready to where we can prevent injuries, where we can continue to work out hard throughout the rest of this whole thing.
Great.
So we are starting off first, feet apart, give me some big arm circles. So we're getting some blood flowing. I want you to be mindful to open up the chest. We're squeezing the shoulder blades together. You're going to do a few that way, and now you're going to reverse it. Number 2, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Coming down to a little runner's lunge. So your hands are inside your foot, right? You're coming down here. Now I want you to straighten that front leg so your toe is faced up. You're getting a nice little hamstring stretch. The toe comes up, then you're coming right back down, and then you're extending that arm up, twisting, getting a little twist in the torso. So this is a complete, like, full body stretch. We're working the hips, we're working the hamstrings, we're working the torso. And that's especially important because people have been seated a lot lately. You want to continue to move through those motions, no static hold. You ready for number 3?
Yep, let's do it.
Frog squats, elbows down to about your knees. Now keeping those glued right there, you're going to straighten your legs to the best of your ability. If you can't completely straighten, that's okay. And then come right back down. You can feel the hamstring stretch as you come up and right back down. We do have one more.
Okay,
so,
let's do it.
Feet and hands are together. Hands are in front of you. So now we are going to seal jack. So it's very similar to jumping jacks, except our arms are in front of us. Out and in, out and in. So when you do this, I want you to be mindful to open up the chest, again, squeezing those shoulder blades. Maybe do about 10 to 15. Heart rate's really gonna get up here. Let's do 3, 2, 1, and breathe.
The purpose of a warm-up is to prepare you for what it is you're about to be doing. So if you're going to be doing something that's involving your upper body, you're going to want to warm that up, not just do lower body warm-ups. However, what you just showed us is for everything.
Absolutely. I imagine with the parks opening, most people are probably doing something on the lines of sprints or running up hills. So that is a full body movement, and you want to put an emphasis on waking up that nervous system to prepare for what you're about to do. So absolutely get the blood flowing. Don't spend too much time, but don't skip it.
I think I'm going to add a little bit of weight to my warm-up here. And we'll check in with you sometime soon. But remember, you can watch Morgan Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. live on SoFlo Health's Instagram. You can follow it right here below. I'm gonna go take my little dog and we'll go for a walk.
Oh yeah, this place is just full of views. You can't look anywhere without having an immaculate view of South Florida, and specifically of Biscayne Bay. Over here, which we saw earlier, American Airlines Arena, we've got downtown. The observation deck at Frost Science is not just a great place to take a look, it's also functional. They have a partnership with FPL to talk about solar power, how it can be harnessed, and they have some examples throughout the rooftop here. We saw it the last time we visited here on SoFlo Health as well. Now, we also want to keep you well fed throughout quarantine. What diet should I eat? What food should I have? What's gonna keep my immune system strong? Well, Monica of Essence Nutrition has some good news for you. You're gonna wanna listen up because it's actually no diet at all. Last week, we met with Monica of Essence Nutrition and we talked about getting back to a normal life slowly. It hasn't begun for us just yet, but hopefully it will soon. And that meant creating some new healthy eating habits. And this week we want to talk about what those might look like, specifically with an idea called intuitive eating. So Monica, hello. Thank you for being with us.
Hello again. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure. And what is intuitive eating?
We need to honor our hunger and honor our fullness, and we need to eat when we're hungry, stop when we're full. Banish this culture of dieting, banish the food police, enjoy our food, but also eat for pursuit of nourishment and health, but also for psychological health and psychological satiety.
You know that somebody right now is watching and saying, well, if I did that, then all I'm going to do is eat Oreos or whatever my treat of choice is.
That's the gut response. And that's actually a response out of fear, because in some way or another, a lot of us are practicing forms of restriction and dieting, which lead to cravings and over consuming foods and overindulging in foods, and this constant cycle of I'm being good, I'm being bad, and restricting and binging, and weight fluctuations and fluctuations in other markers of health that are just so unnecessary if we would just stop and listen to our bodies. So we're all born intuitive eaters, which really is beautiful. And I have a 4.5-month-old son who tells me when he's hungry and he tells me exactly when he's full. And we need to learn to honor that, because what happens is somewhere along the road, it gets broken.
Our next topic, which is mindful eating, and it's similar in some senses, but also very different. So what is mindful eating and why is it important, especially now during quarantine?
Mindful eating is the action of bringing presence, consciousness in a non-judgmental and celebratory way to food. So for example, a lot of us, like I say, we're working or we're on our phones or we're doing something, we're being mindless. When we're in a movie theater and we're just shoving popcorn into our mouths because we're not paying attention and it's dark, we eat this much popcorn, but we would never do that if we were just sitting at our kitchen table not doing anything, unless there was some kind of emotional intrusion that was happening. So when we mindfully eat, we pay attention to the sensory aspects of food, which are awesome, which is, again, what children do is they're natural mindful eaters. They're inspecting their food, they're smelling it, they're tasting it, they're having a grand old time with it. They're not reading the New York Times with it, although I do love the New York Times. So, that's a really uniquely beautiful experience that we can take from children, is their intuitive eating and mindful eating innate capacity for those types of things, which is really cool. And when, especially in quarantine, as we all sit down and our schedules are all just destabilized, mindful eating has really gone out the window.
Well, again, thank you so much. So the ideas here are intuitive eating isn't so difficult if you take some time and mindfully eat, but hopefully you've done your planning ahead of time and had a successful trip to the grocery store. And if you have questions, you can hit up Monica of Essence Nutrition. So thank you, Monica.
Thank you for having me.
Hang Fin, more aquatic adventures and Mask Mania after the break.
I'm Hunter Franqui with another SoFlo health reminder. If you need to be around other people, stay at least 6 feet away. That's proper social distancing. And if you're not sure how far 6 feet is, I'm 6 feet tall, so one Hunter Franqui should do. Now back to some more SoFlo health. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Franqui, and we are still at Frost Science in downtown Miami, and I am joined by Andy. Andy, thank you for having us here today. Tell me about what you do. I know it's a very cool job.
Welcome. I am the Vice President of Animal Care here at Frost Science, and I oversee the amazing team like Chris here that gets to care for the animals that we have here, care for the filtration, the life support systems. This is one of the exhibits that we've used this downtime to do a full renovation on.
Right.
So the front portion right here is going to be a Florida live reef, and the back part of this exhibit, by the time we open, is going to be a Goliath grouper exhibit.
Tell me, how are you bringing Frost to people at home?
We have a Frost Science at home, and through that portal we're able to do a lot of different things. One of the things that we've been requested that we've been able to activate is a Gulfstream live camera. So guests, members, frequent visitors to Frost, or even someone in California can tune into our Gulfstream exhibit, see the hammerhead sharks, see the turtle, see what's going on every morning with that. We also have a lot of do-it-yourself home science kits where parents can work with kids of different ages. It's all kind of geared towards different age brackets. These DIY science kits at home. We've also got our Frost Science Live, but we bring that virtually at home every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. One of the great things that Frost offers is both a blend of internal spaces, but this great outdoor space. Our animal team has been here for the last 6 weeks, practicing spatial distancing, but we are going exhibit by exhibit and looking at what is the safe approach to this, what is the scientific approach to how we disinfect, how do we look at our spaces, managing flow throughout the buildings. We're likely going to open in a more scripted format, so we have guests going through the building in a set direction to try to minimize that.
Yes, well, we look forward to Frost reopening, everything reopening, and getting back to business as usual, but we will be patient and follow along with whatever you guys come up with. We trust you. You are Frost Science after all, so I hope you get it right, which I know you will. And Andy, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to mask back up, and we're going to continue to check out what we have here at Frost, and I'll see you after this. When it comes to COVID-19, one of the most popular topics that we've had to talk about is definitely masks. What kind of masks, how to wear a mask, and what to do when you have that mask, and is it really protecting you? All questions you might have that we'll hopefully answer right here with Dr. Clifton. Dr. Clifton, thank you for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. And we're talking, courtesy of Boomer Naturals and the masks that they're able to provide us. Now, before we get a deep dive into Boomer Naturals, what is a mask doing for us?
Well, a mask is doing a couple of things. There are a number of people in the community that are infected with virus and don't know they're infected. This phase where you can transmit virus without realizing that you're transmitting can last for up to 2 weeks, but it typically lasts for an average of 5 days. So what you're doing by wearing a mask is protecting yourself from breathing in a large amount of viral particles from the air. And you're also potentially protecting other people in case you're actually the infected person that is busy exhaling viral particles.
So when it comes to masks, the one you have there is pretty darn good looking. It's from Boomer Naturals, correct?
Yeah, these are all ones that are from Boomer Naturals. I love this mask because, starting out with a single cotton layer is a good start. It's better than nothing. And then if you go up to 2 or 3 layers, that provides an added level of protection. The cotton masks I like the most are when they add another level of filtration or another level of protection in addition to just the cloth. And Boomer Naturals does some nanosilver particles that are infiltrated right into the cloth. So it's still comfy and cozy like a cloth mask, but it has a much higher ability to trap airborne particles and be antiviral and antibacterial.
Why does it matter what the mask is made out of?
Well, it's important to get a fabric that's breathable and that you can talk through. I mean, masks need to be able to be worn in order to be effective. If you're constantly pulling it off because you feel uncomfortable,
right,
then it's going to be less likely that you'll wear it. So a cloth mask is nicer that way, especially if the cloth is really cozy on that inner layer. That's just a nice touch.
One thing I like about these as well is that they get more than one use. That way we're not creating more waste. And how long do they last?
They last for 30 days with regular washing, and that makes them extremely inexpensive. They're just 30 cents a day.
Be courteous of yourself and others, and do wear a mask when necessary, and continue to listen for updates on what to do going forward. Dr. Clifton, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm HUNTERFRANQUI, and this is probably the coolest way to socially distance. It's a whisper dish here at Frost Science, and the reason it's called a whisper dish is all you have to do to communicate with somebody at least 50 feet away is whisper right into this dish. And you can hear it all the way down there, and that's at least, 8.5 HUNTERFRANQUIs apart. We'll measure it later, maybe not. But that's it for this week's episode of SoFlo Health. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate Frost Science. Thank you for having us, Frost. We really just love this place. There's so much to learn, do, and see, and you can do this at home using Frost at Home. Visit their website, do the projects, watch the live streams, and if you do, tag them and tag us using @SoFlo Health. You can watch previous episodes of SoFlo Health on SoFloHealth.com or YouTube.com/SoFlo Health. And as usual, to our frontline workers, doctors, nurses, EMTs, cops, everyone helping keep life as normal as possible during this time. Thank you for what you do. Until next week, goodbye and good health.